Good day everyone! Today, we are going to discuss about Art Nouveau, Constructivism, the style, and optical art. This report is brought to you by the Group 4,
Vesto,
Dorman, Fancovilla, Manarog, Redido, and Zerna.
I'm Jerry Corridido and I'm going to report about Art Nouveau. So what is Art Nouveau? Art Nouveau is an ornamental style of art flourished between 1890 and 1910. It is an international style of art, architecture, and applied art, especially the decorative arts. The style is known by different names in different languages. Hornstil in German, Stile Liberty in Italian, and Modernisme in Catalan, and Modern Style in English. It was a deliberate attempt to create a new style free of the imitative historicism that dominated much of 19th century art and design. Art Nouveau originates from the 1880s until the eve of World War I. The roots of Art Nouveau can be traced back to the arts and craft movement. Arts and craft is often seen as a response to growing industrialization in Europe and the rise of factory mass production of perceived expense of traditional craftsmanship. Art Nouveau used much of colors such as muted greens, browns, yellows, yellowish red, and blues. The distinguishing ornamental characteristics of Art Nouveau is its undulating asymmetrical line, often taking the form of flower stalks and buds, vine tendrils, and wings, and other delicate and sinuous natural objects. The line may be elegant and graceful, or infused with a powerful, rhythmic, and whip-like force. Art Nouveau was commonly applied in interior design, architecture, jewelry, and glass designs. These are the most famous Art Nouveau artists. Gustav Klimt was an Austrian artist who was one of the most prominent members of the Vienna Secession movement, an art movement closely related to Art Nouveau, which was formed in 1897. He created mostly paintings with the subject of the female body, the erotic undertone. Antoni Gaudí was the most prominent artist of the Catalan modernist movement. He is best known for his ultimate architectural masterpiece, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, one of the most famous churches in the world with a unique architectural design that has been under construction for well over a century. His work was mainly influenced by religion, nature, and his general love for architecture. Other marvelous structures that were listed are Casa Meliá and the Casa Batlló, both in his hometown in Barcelona. Alfonso Moga was a painter, illustrator, and graphic designer who was born in Margravet of Moravia. His most famous works consisted of the French stage actress Sarah Bernard, one of the most famous actresses of her generation, who starred in the most popular plays in Paris. Victor Horta, a Belgian artist and one of the founding fathers of the Art Nouveau movement. He was a designer and architect, and his design of the Motel Castle in Brussels, which was completed between 1892 and 1893, and considered to be the first Art Nouveau building in history. Louis Comfort Tiffany, considered to be the main Art Nouveau artist from the United States. He started out as a landscape painter and received academic training in painting in the 1860s, and he started picking up glassmaking around 1875 and worked in various glass houses in New York. He eventually managed the business his father started, called Tiffany and Co.
I am Shenamay C. Zerna of BSHM1A, and I am here to tackle about constructivism. What is constructivism? Constructivism is an abstract and austere constructivist art that aimed to reflect modern industrial society and urban space. The movement rejected decorative stylization in favor of industrial assemblage of materials. Constructivism was also a Russian avant-garde art movement that used geometric shapes and industrial materials. As constructivists created artwork that reflect communist ideals dedicated to benefiting the common good and promoted a utopian society. The example of constructivism art is Tatlin Tower. The Tatlin Tower has 400 meters high, and it is a project for the monument to the Third International in the year of 1919 to 1920, and it was designed for a grand monumental building by the Russian artist and architect Vladimir Tatlin. It was planned to be erected in the Petrograd, now also known as the St. Petersburg. After the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, as the headquarters and monument of Comintern, also known as the Third International. What type of art is constructivism? Constructivism art style is constructivist style. Constructivist art focuses on industrial production. It uses stripped-down geometric forms and modest materials. Their visual language existed of forms that they could draw with practical instruments like compasses and rulers. The design elements used in constructivism. Constructivism usually had diagonal elements with circular and angled type images. However, Russian constructivism characteristically used minimal color palettes, often just red, black, and sometimes yellow color. Just like in the photo, there is a circular shape, diagonal and angled form types of element, which also encompasses the colors of red and black. The main characteristic of constructivism was the application of 3D cubism to abstract and non-objective elements. The style was incorporated with straight lines, cylinders, cubes, and rectangles that merges of the other elements of modern age, such as radio antenna, tension cables, concrete frames, and steel girders. When did constructivism art end? Constructivism art ended on 1930. Even though constructivism being a historical movement, it ended when an avant-garde activity became increasingly distasteful to the communist regime. But its influence could be felt throughout much of the 20th century. In addition, constructivism became the most influential movement in 20th century with its aesthetic roots fixed firmly on the suprematism movement. However, constructivism came fully to the fore as the art of a young Soviet Union after the Revolution of 1917.
Hi, I will be discussing about the style art or the style in Dutch. So what is the style or the style? Well, originally a publication, the style was founded in 1917 by pioneers of abstract art. One of the founders is Piet Mondrian or Peter Collins Mondrian. The style means style in Dutch. The magazine The Style became a vehicle for Mondrian's ideals on art and a series of articles. In the first year issues, he defined his aims and used, perhaps for the first time, the term New Plasticism. This became the name of the type of abstract art he and the Style Circle practiced. The Style movement posited the fundamental principle of the geometry of the straight line, the square, and the rectangle, combined with a strong asymmetricality, the predominant use of pure primary colors with black and white. The style had a profound influence on the development both of abstract art and modern architecture and designs. Characteristic of the style. So what are the characteristics of the style? From 1917 to 1931, the style, also known as New Plasticism, was a famous modern art form that valued abstraction and simplicity. Clean lines, right angles, and primary colors characterized this aesthetic and art movement expressed via architecture and paintings. Purpose of the style. The artists of the still work in a wide range of media across fine and applied arts. They aim for an ideal fusion of form and function, therefore not only focusing on painting and sculptures, but extending their artistic vision to all other art forms including literature, music, typography, and industrial design. Co-founder of the Still Art, Peter Cornel Mondrian. He was born in Netherlands in 1892. He studied to become an art teacher and later attends to art college to learn how to paint. He started with delicate landscapes, and under the influence of Van Gogh, Peter goes out at night to capture more stylized images and to dance. Over the time, his artwork became more abstract. Beat is no longer interested in disciplining reality, but the essence behind it. His painting style goes back to basic horizontals and vertical in primary colors. A painting doesn't need to represent anything. It has to make you feel something. After the First World War, the style of neoplasticism picks up. Mondrian joined the movement from his Paris studio, where he covers the walls in colored cardboard to experiment with colors and dimensions. In 1940, he moves to New York, but shortly after completing Victory, he dies of pneumonia at age of 71, and now, his influence on artwork can be found everywhere.
So good day, I am Anjali Dorman from Base HM1A, and my report is all about optical art. Op art, short for optical art, is a style of visual art that uses optical illusions. Op art works are abstract with many better-known pieces created in black and white. Typically, they give the viewer the impression of movement, hidden images, flashing and vibrating patterns, or of swirling or warping. For example, kanina picture, makita ninyo nga na ay murag curve line lang, pero at the same time, makita ninyo na ay skull. So, ang optical art makes you think. It appeals to your sense of awe, your sense of what you think you know versus what you are seeing. Who invented optical art? It was Victor Bussarille. However, the style we know as op emerged from the work of Victor Bussarille, who first explored unusual perceptual effects in some designs from the 1930s. So, optical art is a type of art that is geometric abstract art. So, a form of geometric abstract art that explores optical sensations through the use of visual effects such as recurring simple forms and rhythmic patterns, vibrating color combinations, white patterns, and foreground-background confusion. And according to experts, optical illusions help you to make your brain sharper. They make you think hard about how a certain thing is possible, lead you to understand the working of a human brain and how interesting it is. It also actually helps understanding the difference between looking and seeing. So, ang optical art, in the first look, makita nimo murag ang art niya is duha ka buok nimo hang makita nga meaning. Like for example na ay murag mulihok nga art kanang murag tuyok-tuyok inana. So usually black and white lang din ang optical art. So ang optical art pag tutukan nimo siya, feeling nimo kay galihok. So na kay illusion. So maka-sharp gid siya sa brain. Nausahay ka ng kung tanawon nimo ginapugnan nimo nga mulihok siya, so mo na siya ang optical art kung tanawon nimo siya in the first look.
That's all for today. We hope that you have learned something. Thank you for watching.